Welcome to Flash Art Weekly. Unfortunately, Atlanta United are out of playoff contention, but what is there still to look forward to? We're getting all that and more coming up. Before we get into it, become part of the notification squad by hitting the bell next to the subscribe button on YouTube. Welcome to the show, 5-Shot Fam. I'm AJ, and this is Michael, and unfortunately, it was a 5-4 loss, 9-goal thriller for the neutrals, I suppose. If there were any watching this match, it would have been quite the stumble upon. But yes, we will get into that match review later on. But first, let's give some big shouts out to our loyal Patreon fam: Gavin, Jordan, Niall, Andrew, Chris, Nick, and Jeff. Thank you guys so much. But yes, as well, let's give some big love to our sponsor. This segment is brought to you by Giant Sports Cards. For passionate collectors of every level, from rookies to veterans, Giant Sports Cards is the modern-day sports card shop that celebrates your love of the game, because only Giant brings the fun, treats every customer like an MVP with their GOAT level of customer service, delivers a game-changing shopping experience through technologies and amenities such as their Ultimate Collector's Cave retail shop, and offers the hottest cards at the lowest prices. Make sure to use our code FANTV and get 10% off your order. Check out Giant Sports Cards today at giantsportscards.com. And guys, time is running out. Make sure to use that code FANTV to get 10% off. And yes, one of our Patreons went there, I think very recently, maybe this past weekend, and he said it was amazing. So definitely go and check them out in person as well. Use the code, get 10% off your order today. But guys, let's get into this match review. And this one was unlike any game that I think we've ever seen. It was absolutely outrageous. It had every bit of emotions besides the elation of winning, unfortunately. But yes, going down 5-0 was not in my bingo card, even with this season. And whew, it's the comeback was definitely on. I don't know how much of it was based in complacency by the crew, but it doesn't matter. I mean, there was at least some semblance of a little bit of saving face, slightly. But yeah, getting 5 goals scored on you in the first half is really inexcusable. But yeah, what were your overall feelings? And really maybe kind of walk us through your emotions when you experienced this match.
All right. We'll get to the emotions, but I feel like we almost had to change the old adage of 2-0 is the most dangerous lead in sports to 5-0 is the most dangerous lead in sports. Like, that would have been wild if anyone was at the stadium and they heard the chant of 6-5, 6-5 calling for that and was willing that to happen. It was a crazy experience. However, unfortunately, we didn't cross the finish line. Just couldn't quite get there. The emotions that, watching this is, it's just, and it's tough because you're starting from a position, emotionally speaking, of some optimism coming into this game, considering the last couple results, the defensive stalwartness, the robustness we had on defense. And then this was anything but. This was a complete collapse defensively of this team in the first half. The likes of which we have never seen. Is an unprecedented collapse. Just goal after goal after goal, and they just kept coming, and you were like, it's like the Simpsons meme, like, stop, he's already dead. Like, it just was ridiculous. It seemed very much like the team had just gotten punched and they got completely shook, and then they just kept getting hit over and over again and never regained anything. They just kept getting knocked down. Luckily, this boxing match, the bell was rung, the round was over, the halftime was called, and we were able to get some reprieve and stop the blood loss. And luckily, we were able to actually make the game somewhat competitive because, as you kind of put it, Columbus got complacent towards the end. They took their foot off the gas. They stopped trying. They started looking at next week's game or their next game they had to play. I think that they were doing like 3 games in a week at that point. So they definitely were trying to think about how they could reserve some of their resources for other games, because clearly Atlanta was not in this one. It almost came back to bite them. So in terms of my emotions, started off optimistic, quickly had that dashed into the ground, grounded up into just complete nothingness. And then at the halftime, some people left the stadium. Some people done watching this game turned it off, rightfully so. It made sense to do so. Then we'll get into Doug Robertson and what he said about how this is a type of performance that gets people fired. It really did feel like that. So that was kind of how I was feeling, just complete nihilism about the team at that moment. And then when the first goal started, obviously that was a little bit before the second half, with that consolation penalty. It's like, whatever, who cares? Then when the second went in, it was like, wait a second, that's not how this is supposed to go. And then the third one went in and you're like, oh, Columbus they're sleepwalking right now. Maybe we could just sneak this result from them. And the fourth one went in, you're like, this is absolutely on. This could absolutely blow up in their faces and be one of, if not the biggest historical, numerical upset in a game, coming back 5-0 to tie or perhaps even win. That would have been monumental and a very, I guess, Atlanta United thing to do. Unfortunately, it wasn't going to be the case, and we had to just suffer through another loss, even though it was semi-entertaining. I mean, if you were going to talk about Tale of Two Halves, this is the perfect game to do so. It very much was. If you're ever going to use that expression, it's perfect for this. But man, we'll get into it. But the frustrations I have with this game are numerous.
Yeah, for sure. And fortunately, we were not the most embarrassing result of the night. I mean, yeah, Philadelphia Union definitely took the cake with the 7-0 drubbing that they took. That was a beating. That was, I mean, if I think the boxing metaphor is great here because, yes, it very much, I think, maybe even in an MMA sense, they had us not only maybe in boxing on the ropes, we were on the ground, they were grounding and pounding us, and the ref was not stepping in. It was basically bloodied. We were becoming entirely just cauliflower, face cauliflower as well. And yeah, somehow we were able to find a kind of stakehold a little bit. The lifeline, I think, really brought some hope. And I think that led to, I mean, if we want to look at a really false positive here, we kept a clean sheet in the second half. I mean, I know, it's absolutely ridiculous. But it is, in some senses, if they can use that as some way of being able to carry that into the next match, I hope they can, because yeah, that first half, they need to look at it a lot in the tape room, but they also need to look at what they did well in the second half, taking into account that Columbus did take their foot off the gas pedal. And yeah, it's a great point that yes, they have 3 matches in a week. They had to conserve some energy, and we were able to take advantage of that a little bit. But I think the crux of it, as far as why this happened, in my mind, is that Diego Rossi versus Ronald Hernandez was just no contest. It was absolutely we were punished time and time again. I mean, Rossi had a first half hat trick. It was, not good by any means, and it was a reason why he was taken off at the half. Ronald Hernandez has been playing good as of late, but I mean, when you come up against one of the best, if not the best, left wingers in the league, I mean, it was kind of questionable for me anyway. Why? So Saba started on the right, Mickey at the 10, and Moranchuk was not able to play, at least from the off, because of a bone bruise that he suffered with Russia. And so, yeah, Saba didn't track back enough for me to really help Hernandez. And also, I think it's a big miss of not having Schlich due to yellow card accumulation. Also somebody that probably would have helped Hernandez. And yeah, when he's left on an island, one-on-one, probably not the best defender. I think we probably missed immensely maybe a Matt Edwards that could have maybe played this match. But, it's, I think defending wise, I think he would have held his own a little bit more than what was going on. But, I don't know if we want to punish ourselves by, going over all of Columbus's goals. But, I think in large part, they found a lot of joy inside of a box. And, yeah, you can't expect to win by doing that. And, like I said on the post-match fan cams, essentially, that's when you see a guy that's pretty much suffering and your teammates, I mean, pretty much, the center backs were kind of cheating over to help him a little bit, and that just opened up the box centrally where, yeah, it was just, they were scampering back. They were trying to, like, even with, a save by Hibbert, it didn't matter. It's just, like, you just don't have enough players to stop anyone in the box for Columbus. And I don't think really Hibbert could be blamed or at fault in this match. But, yeah, I mean... Excuse me. And I'll let you speak so I can cough here.
Yeah. I don't blame Hibbert for any of this. This was all the defense letting a lot of things happen. It was a combination of things as well. It was just the fact that Columbus was on a real one that night. They were playing lights out. They smelled blood and they went nuts. Their passes were excellent, crispy, low, right to their players. They thread the needle multiple times into our box where, I mean, there's multiple times where, like, Alzate or Baracala or one of the defenders, if they maybe, like, stuck their foot out like a couple more inches, they could have stopped or intercepted a pass. But they didn't think that ball was going to get there, or they didn't think it was going to thread the needle, but it did. Like, every time. That normally doesn't happen, like, as many times as it did that game. Perfectly, the ball makes a pass through traffic and gets right to the Columbus player that is the most dangerous, and it's for a tap in or for a good shot or whatever. Like, Columbus was a little bit lucky and also extremely good and clinical that game. Passing on, shot on, they just didn't miss. Their passes were perfect. It was clinical. They put on a clinic against Land United. And the other part of it, Land United's defense didn't see up for this game. They just were outplayed every way, up and down. It was obviously embarrassing. Obviously embarrassing. Players that are better than this were making mistakes, getting pressured and getting forced into doing things that they shouldn't do, like silly back passes that force your fullback to run all the way back to the corner to receive it, and then by that time they cough up the ball. Passes back to the goalie, who then has to just kind of shoot it out, and then they turn it over again once it lands in the midfield, and then they have it get charged right back down their throat again. No breathing, no respite for the team, and they just kept getting pounded on. And then we had really nothing going forward either, because we couldn't get out of our half most of the time. The other team was suffocating. They did it. They played it perfectly. And for some reason, we tried to play like, we're going to play Columbus against their strength, like what we believe to be our strength against their strength. This is not our strength to play like that. To play down the middle, to play, build out the back against this team, possession based, just try and break them down. That's not how you play Columbus, one of the better teams at that. And we were torn to shreds, to ribbons, attempting to do so. It was very, AJ said it very correctly in the post-game show, it was very naive to approach Columbus in this manner, and we were made to pay for it. So that is kind of on the coach for thinking like at home we can just impose ourselves on a obviously better team. And it just didn't work out like that. And I'm kind of sick of that. I don't like when we do that. I don't think that we should be beating our chest and thinking we're better when we're not. And then we end up taking a gigantic loss or a humiliating loss because we had a lot of pride and a lot of arrogance to think we can play against a team like that. So I'd like to see us be more defensively minded like we were in the second half. We did some formation change to make us a little bit more better at dealing with Columbus's runners on their offense. So we were able to stymie a lot of their attacks and kind of control the game much better, especially in the midfield too. So I would hope that we would maybe start games with that in mind. If that makes us seem a little bit more defensive when we're sitting back, so be it. I don't want to be 5 down in the first half alone. It's ridiculous. So maybe don't do that next time.
Yeah, it's there's so many great points here, and I wanted to cut in to add some stuff, but it seemed like you were definitely on a roll. So it's I think one of the points was that with Enya Mihai with one of the just uncharacteristic touches that led to one of the goals essentially was just something that you just don't see. But when it's the two things can be true at the same time type of thing, that Columbus were just that good at pressing, and essentially we were just that bad. And with the 5 shots that they had 5 goals in the first half. Like it's outrageous. Like you look at the XG, we had more XG, but it doesn't matter if they're just more clinical. And they just had way better types of shots. And a big part of that as well is the penalty, kind of, making a big stake in that XG as well. So, I mean, like I said, and like, Mike mentioned as well, the naivete of trying to play it straight up. And it is this. It's, if, like I mentioned, if you're playing a DC or something, sure. Yeah, you can play on the ball. But if you are trying to play against one of the best pressing teams and also one of the best possession teams in the league in Columbus, that's just, as far as grounds for, firing or something, some people, are saying that, Ronny Deila, basically had 13 days to prepare for this, and this is what he came up with. It's not a great look at all for Deila. It's kind of an indictment. It does raise some major questions, and it is, extremely bad for business. Not only for Atlanta United, but pretty much anybody involved with them, with sponsors across the stadium as well. Like that, like it has every bit to play, and this type of result, I mean, especially one that knocks us out of playoff contention. I bet a lot of casual fans and even diehards have checked out. And we still have 5 games left in the season. It's not great, Bob. It's really not great. And yes, we'll kind of look at the positives here. Is that Jamal Tiare scored a brace, really well taken goals. I mean, ones that I think you don't necessarily always expect him to bury, but he did. And also Miguel Almiron with his penalty kind of going outside of the norm. He usually goes bottom left. He put his foot through it, and yeah, it was kind of middle right a little bit, as far as height, middle. So definitely a little bit different too. I think he realized, yeah, I can't finesse this. I'm gonna make sure I at least get the first one, and that he did. But yeah, I mean, it's just like the goal's obviously too little, too late. It did bring some hope in the stadium. Whew, I very much, I did not think we could do it. I'm gonna be honest. And so, I'm in the stadium. I'm hoping, I'm cheering, but I'm looking at pretty much our opposition, and it's like, yeah, maybe if it's any other team, we could probably do it, maybe. But sans maybe some of the really top West Coast teams too, maybe sans Inter Miami, but just Columbus. Even though they're not infallible, but they are a team that just, I think, plays against us really well. They match up against us really well. And it's just, yeah, a lot of it, I think, is game state dependent. Second half, like we mentioned, gas pedal was taken off. The 5 men at the back really, I think, stymied them a little bit more too, gave them less space, especially in the box, and allowed us to basically punish them on the counter in those moments where, obviously we really needed to save a little bit of face. But I think one of the, highlights, maybe tied with a low light, unfortunately, was that Will Riley had to come off. Cooper Sanchez made his MLS debut with a 16-minute substitute appearance, and he is one of the youngest guys that has ever played a match for Atlanta United. So yeah, definitely congrats to Sanchez. But also as well, both center backs had assists for goals. So that's kind of crazy. But this match had absolutely just an insane amount of things that you probably won't see for a really long time. Pedro Amador scored his first goal for Atlanta United, and that is probably a souvenir as well. So it's just crazy. But let's wrap up this match. Any final thoughts?
Yeah, I hesitate to pull anything positive from this game outside of maybe superlatives, like what you said about Cooper Sanchez. But they took Diego Rossi out. I mean, he got injured after his third goal, but they took him out, their best player. And for us to then go, oh yeah, we did a lot of good in the second half. The job was done. Columbus had won the game in the first half. That was it. That was their best attempt against our best attempt. And they won 5-0. And then the quote-unquote second game, the second half, Columbus did not try. They just didn't. They were like, we've already finished our job. We can go home now, basically. And so for us to take anything away from, I feel like the second half is just kind of silly. We're not really playing a team that's all there anymore. So taking anything from there and generalizing it to another team or another game, I think is foolhardy at best. I just, this is corrupt data that you're working with at this point, giving you false confidence or things. It's like, it's not a good idea. I just think you have to look at the first half 5-0 and go, this is where this game was won and lost, and you need to fix these things so they do not happen again this way. I just don't really feel like you can look to the second half and be like, wow, like they were saying with Doug Roberson about, this is the type of game or result that gets people fired. I'm surprised it still isn't, if that's still the case, because he put that out at like halftime, around halftime, that tweet, or maybe it was when it was still 5-0. I mean, yeah, you came back to score 4, but I just don't understand why you're going to kind of scrub away what happened in the first half. That's the damning indictment right there that I think needs to stick, because the game was won and lost there. If you're going to play every game like that, you're just going to keep losing. So I don't know, you're not going to be able to score 4 every time in the second half. A lot of teams won't take their foot off the gas, like what happened to Philadelphia. That team didn't take their foot off the gas in the second half. And look what happened, 7-0. So could have been ours. It could have been the same with us. Diego Rossi decided to stay in. If they didn't have 3 games in that week, they could have kept their starting 11 on for 90 minutes and just continued to plow us. So, I just don't feel like it's important to take much from the second half. It's just, this is an embarrassing game, a frustrating game, and something you need to look at as a coach and as a team and go, what the absolute hell were you guys thinking? This is you guys completely checking out. It's not just that Columbus was good. They were. It was because you guys had 0 effort. You had 0 heart in this game. You just were checked out, and it was just completely exploited by Columbus, an already good team who does not need that kind of help.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely agree with you on a lot of points. I think there are a couple things for me that it's tough. It's tough because it's from an aspect of, say, okay, 3 games in a week. Well, Vancouver also had 3 games in a week. They didn't take their foot off the pedal, but it was because, yes, Rossi did get injured. But for LA United, we often play 2 different halves. And, this was obviously the worst it's ever been for a half of ours. Unfortunately, it was the first half this time. And yeah, it obviously, like we've mentioned, game state dependent. And so, yes, when Columbus stopped caring pretty much as much, we start scoring goals. But I think that also shows kind of the margins a little bit in MLS. In that, a player, their best player, performing anyway on the night, because you could argue that Nagbe is their best player, but he's not scoring goals. But it is an aspect of it that, if we can put together 2 consecutive halves ever in 2025 and hopefully beyond, that we can, I think start to identify the things that can make us successful. And those things are that, when we hit teams on the counter and we have the players that can actually finish those chances, we can be dangerous. We can punish a lot of teams. We can punish some of the best teams in this league. But we also have to keep the opposition off the scoreboard. So, it is. I agree with what you're saying. There are some aspects of it that it's like, it's a little unfair, maybe, because, they, like, just like we checked out in the first half, they also checked out in the second half. So, yes, it was won in the first half, but there are a lot of games that we won that first half, but, we lose the second half, and we ultimately lose the game or draw the game. And it's difficult to, I think, the ultimately it's this. LA United have done this all season, just not to this terrible degree. And if there were, just a modicum of some consistency from half to half, it would be a completely different season. And
I just don't know how you follow up a Nashville away victory with this.
Yeah,
that's just it. And it's not even result that I'm looking at here. Look at, like, effort. Like, the first half, we just got completely outplayed. and it didn't seem like the guys were really in the game, like mentally speaking. You had weeks to prepare. You know, you're coming off of a historic win essentially, because you've never won at Geodis Park, and this is the first time you won this season away, and somehow you take that momentum and you just completely trash it. That's wild to me. That's coaching and team mentality for me. That just completely failed there.
Yeah, no dispute there for sure. Yeah, it's just, you know, the momentum just doesn't seem to be able to be carried, and we can't stop the bleeding. It's just, yeah, that's 2025 in a nutshell. But yeah, we got to move on. But yes, our next match will be against San Diego FC. We will have that match preview later on for you in this episode. But let's get into the news. And Will Riley, unfortunately, has suffered a right hamstring strain. He will be reevaluated in approximately 3 to 4 weeks, and his rehab process will determine his return to play timeline, according to Atlanta United. So, yeah, another midfielder down, unfortunately. And so, yeah, I think there might be a lot more Cooper Sanchez, which, yes, he has become the youngest player ever to debut for Atlanta United. Not only in 2023, but here he's 17. It's crazy. It's, you know, because, well, okay, Atlanta United 2, sorry, here we go. He was youngest player to ever debut for Atlanta United 2 in 2023, in March of 22nd of 2023. But yeah, now at 17, yeah, he made the second of his big debuts this season. But yeah, big congrats to Sanchez. I mean, it is absolutely nuts. I mean, he's been with the team since he's been 12 years old, and so yeah, I mean, kind of almost literally in a sense that he is a lifelong Atlanta United fan in that sense. So yeah, hopefully he can be a player that's you know, kind of is a, you know, kind of a stalwart, you know, for Atlanta United, and you know, hopefully he can extrapolate that. But yes, definitely big congrats to him. Any thoughts on Will Riley or Sanchez?
Will Riley's a huge loss for us. That really stinks. Hopefully he gets well soon. But I mean, 5 games, and we're not out of the playoff contention. So it is what it is. Get well, take your time. I guess, you know, it's not a big deal at this point. But yeah, that's unfortunate. I would have hoped he would be able to use these games to get more experience. But you know, c'est la vie. And good for Cooper Sanchez. And like you said, I mirror all your points about his future, hopefully with us, and he's just not immediately sold for GAM.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, and Atlanta United 2, they unfortunately fell to the Carolina Core 4-2. It was a match for playoff contention at Truist Point Stadium in High Point, North Carolina. Santiago Pita scored his first professional goal, and Gabriel Wesse now leads the team with 5 assists on the season. But yeah, that wraps it up for the news, and it gets us to the mailbag. You guys send in these questions through IG story and Discord. Please continue to do so. We might answer your question in the future. But first question comes from literally their username is question mark. So now that we're eliminated from playoffs, which young players do you think will be given more chances to impress, and which older players will be dropped? So direct tie-in to pretty much the news.
Yeah, I don't know of like older players being dropped per se. I would have. I mean, this is, like I said, this would have been a perfect opportunity for like Matt Edwards and Fortune and Will Riley to really shine in these cases, because these are meaningless games essentially, and they're not going to be able because of injuries. That really sucks. I hate that. At least Jaden Hibbert should be able to get every game except for the last one. It is probably will be Brad Guzan, so that's fine. But yeah, I think that's who I would want to see. I'm sure Cooper will get some play time, and that's fine too. yeah, it's unfortunate that we have the injuries in all the young kids essentially.
Yeah, I mean, if it's, those like you mentioned, I think that'd be fantastic. Yeah, it is really unfortunate that a lot of our homegrowns are injured in the run-in. Also, Luke Brennan, I think, will probably see a lot of minutes as well. Sabo's kind of, I think, fallen a little bit out of favor at times. Yeah, maybe favored when it's a match that maybe we are absolutely needing to win. But yeah, I think now at this point, I would hope that it would be more in that case. And I think, yeah, maybe as well, a Wesse from the twos maybe sees some time. I think, some performing two players, maybe they get a little run out to kind of see what we have, to see if they can cut the mustard at MLS level. And so, I think that could be, one of them. Yeah, I think I lament probably the most that maybe it's Matt Edwards, Jay Fortune, who can, get some more valuable minutes. Like those are big misses for sure. But yeah, next question comes from Billy Gluckman. 3 reasons why we should be excited for 2025.
2025.
Or no, sorry, 2026 rather. Yeah. I read that incorrectly. 3 reasons why we should be excited for 2026. There we go.
I mean, I don't think we could do worse. So there's that. I really would be surprised. I would put that on an incredible small probability for us doing worse than we've done in our historically worst season of this year. So there's that to look forward to, likely. I don't think we'll be seeing any new DPs. I don't think we'll be seeing a new coach. So if you like those 4 pieces, you'll be seeing more of them more than likely. To me, I think, the most interesting thing will probably be the new pieces they pick up in the winter, in the next transfer window. So, that's not going to be the start of the season, but at least that's still within the 2026 season. So with that, I'll be interested to see who gets moved off and who sticks around and who gets added. I think there's some potentially team-changing type moves that could happen there. So looking forward to that. And I mean, just performing better, being able to be consistently competitive every game, win or lose, I think is something this team hasn't really had in a while. I want people to be able to tune into this team, and every week it's like, hopefully at the very least, it's a 50-50 of, will they win, won't they win? Instead of you tune in and it's been, yeah, we're definitely going to lose this. And it's just every week, we're probably not going to win. We're probably not going to win. And it just keeps happening. It was almost like, we were looking at, was it 8 or 9 in a row where we just didn't, or is it up to 10? I forget, but it was really bad that every week it's the same as last time. So I think we'll be able to win more points. I don't know if we're going to be competitive to the level of like a top 4 or something like this, but I think at least we'll pick up way more points than we did this season, which still doesn't say a lot, but it will be better, and I'm looking forward to that. I think that may be 3 things.
I think you got the 3. Yeah, I think and well done to get to 3, for real. But yeah, I think for me, yes, I'm gonna kind of break it down in positions because that's just easier to get to 3. But I think there will be a new right back. So there's something that we can look forward to there, because to continue on with the same kind of just defensive options there would be very foolhardy. So yeah, I think that position can be upgraded in a very big way. Left wing, I think, as well will be upgraded, and that will be something that I think very much will yield more goals. And I think as well, our DPs cannot perform worse, in a sense. They could, but as far as Latte Lat, I think he's just too good to not get double digits in a season. I think very much it had everything to do with him not really having a break. And I think that's, kind of one of the reasons why going to the almost, kind of worldwide calendar, but definitely, European calendar as well, really, I think, at least syncs us up with transfer windows so that we don't see this, kind of acclimating problem that we absolutely experienced here, I think. And yeah, I mean, Miggy, Moranchuk, the hearsay is that they're gonna be kept, but I think one of them, if there's a buyout, which we will get a buyout, I think that has to happen in order to bring some excitement to the fans. So, yeah, I think I got to 3. Not sure, but either way, here we go. Next question comes from Jair Raimondo. Favorite non-Atlanta United MLS player?
I'm gonna assume he means current player, so I'm gonna and not former Atlanta United players, because I definitely would put Darlington Nagbe, maybe Jose Martinez in that list. But I'm gonna say I think Evander is a lot of fun to watch. Plays a lot like Almada in some ways when he was here. Just a free kick specialty and other things in his touch and his ability to dribble and kind of make people look silly. And just make stuff happen out of nothing. So he's an exciting player to watch. I like watching him if I can. I think also this might be an unpopular thing, but I've always kind of liked Hani Mukhtar as a player. This was I know that Nashville's kind of been a more difficult team for us recently, and people may have been, have some negative bias associated with him. But for me, I always thought he was a good player, and I can kind of look a little bit beyond that bias and say, I enjoy watching him play, and he's good to kind of keep an eye on in a game. And I think, a more kind of stereotypical, maybe, or like an easy answer would be like Ricky Puig as well, just because he's also very electric.
Yeah. You only had to pick one, but you picked 3. But yes, amazing.
Just in case you picked the same one.
Yeah. You're about to choose, a lot of them. So Evander obviously is, incredible, and I think likely is a MVP candidate, but definitely should finish top 5 for sure. And that's very easy. But for me, I think, Denny Bouanga, just his finishing ability. He's just so consistent as well. Could hit 20 goals again, 3 seasons in a row. And then plus, so good on the ball as well. It's just, I think one of those things where I would absolutely love Denny Bouanga on this team, but it's one of those things where we have not made very good roster decisions throughout the years. So definitely one of those that I would have.
It also puts Son on that list too, who's on LAFC now too. So, but he's just recently there, so I didn't really think about him as much.
Right. Yeah, and I think that's the difficulty for me is him being a former Spurs player. But yes, I have been on record saying that I would like him at Atlanta United. We do have a large Korean contingent, in Gwinnett and scattered across, across Georgia, but also, Koreans are super in and trendy as well. So it is, having the biggest star from Korea would have bought huge eyeballs to Atlanta United, and that's
biggest soccer star.
Yeah, and how could I say no? But it is the case.
That girl, I don't know the name of these things, but the girl in that one K-pop group is like the most popular human being on the planet, and it's wild to me. I remember I watched a what was I watching? I was watching White Lotus, and she was in the most recent season, and I was like, I don't know who that is, and everyone's like, you don't know who that is? That's like the most famous human being on the planet right now, and I'm like, oh shit. Well, I did not know that.
I mean, listen. I don't know who you're talking about, but and I've seen the White Lotus.
Well, you got some learning to do.
I suppose, but debatable because Messi, Ronaldo probably are the most famous human beings on the planet. But I think that's everybody knows that.
Maybe, I don't know.
But either way, let's get to our last question. Patty Ice _14 asks, did we make a mistake by not hiring Jim Curtin? There's before you answer, there's a not massive, but there are people that are talking about Jim Curtin a lot lately, and it's perplexing. That's all I'll say. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just not a fan of him it's just, I know I was saying earlier, like, I can put my biases aside for some things, like with Hani Mukhtar, and AJ with Son, but like, that's going to be a tough one for me. He would have to, like I said this before when he was more kind of a rumored coach for us that looked potentially like it might happen. I remember saying he's going to have to like win the cup like the first year with us or something, or win some kind of trophy for us, like in order to erase all the bad will. And that would absolutely do so. Even if maybe he made top 4 and we looked wildly competitive and maybe in a year or two we could win the cup, that might go a long way in, scrubbing all of that bad juju that he had with us. But it would have to be pretty big and pretty monumental and pretty quick. And if it didn't work out like that, which I would put on a balance of probability more likely than it working, I would be like, that's just not going to be good for us or for me as a viewer, for the team. That's just going to be a lot of negativity that I feel like we could easily just sidestep and not have to have the potential of running into. So we ended up going with someone who has basically no notoriety within the Atlanta United community, with Ronny Deila. And if it was Jim Curtin with this team, I just don't think he would have fixed things. I think very few coaches could have. And yeah, they're not coming to Atlanta United, I think. So yeah, I just feel like that would have been just a bad choice. And at this point, considering it again, I don't think so. I don't think that would be a good choice. I still think it would be probably more negativity than it's worth.
Yeah, it's one of these things as well. Curtin said no, and I want people who want to be here, and if they don't want to be here, there is no reason for us to go asking them again if they want to be here. And as well, his DNA, as far as kind of how he put out his Philadelphia teams, I don't think really matches what we're trying to do as well. Yes, it was a little bit contingent on how the Philadelphia Union owners wanted to spend money or lack thereof, but we're definitely a side that is willing to spend money and is willing to really move on young players. I don't know if Curtin would really accept that, in the sense of, yeah, okay, Aronson, some other players have been sold. He's dealt with it. He's been able to handle that and still keep them competitive. But ultimately, I think his style of play requires a lot of young players, maybe sans Bedoya, in the sense that, yeah, okay, Wagner, some other players are on the older side, but they started to wane, but now they're doing quite well. It's somehow, they're as of right now of this recording, I believe they are in first still, but
yeah,
it's one of those things where just the style of play, I don't really think matches up with what the fans really want. And then, on top of that, you have the whole college football statement, the ID thing that he mentioned, the even just the diamond midfield that he regularly employs. Not necessarily, I think, a lot of things that Atlanta United fans really actually want, but that's just my opinion. But yep, let's see. I think that was the last question there. Let's get to the match preview. And 4:30 Saturday, the 22nd, I believe. Hold on one second. The 20th rather, September 20th. It's at the Benz versus San Diego FC, and it's 13th place with a negative 18 goal difference. Atlanta United versus first place in the West with an 18 goal difference. So pretty much diametric opposites. And last match, unfortunately for them, maybe fortunately, maybe for us, who knows? San Diego, they lost 3-1 to Minnesota United. Like I said, we've never played them before, so we don't have a history with them. But, they could very well come into this match kind of with the hunger of, okay, we can't lose 2 in a row, so we're going to absolutely drop this team in front of us. And, I think the one positive is that we're at home, and there will be goals probably. But it's just a matter of, can we win the match? But, as far as San Diego, they're the expansion team this season. They got 2 DPs for Mikey Veras, their head coach. They, are very much a very attacking side. They, I think, with that extra GAM, have a very stacked roster. Anders Dreyer, 14 goals, 16 assists on the season. It's outrageous. You also have Milan Iloski. He's got 10 goals and 1 assist on the season already. Herving Lozano as well, 9 goals, 7 assists. So they're spreading the goals around. They're just immaculately
good team.
Yeah, delicious attacking side. I hate it. I hate it, but they are doing better than Atlanta United in our first season. It is not lovely to see. But,
we'll see how they do in their second season.
All right.
If you remember St. Louis,
Yes.
how that happened for them.
Exactly. And, St. Louis were up there as far as, kind of having a really good first season. Maybe not quite to the level of Seattle or quite us, but San Diego, I think, definitely far and away, the best, first inaugural season so far, anyway. But they are, this side that plays a 4-3-3. I think what's funny is a lot of pundits had them finishing pretty much 14th, 15th in the Western Conference, and they got it so wrong. And they also got us so wrong. So, what do the pundits know? Like, they... Nothing, obviously. But, they're a team that's very good at finishing scoring chances. On the counterattack, long shots. They come back from losing positions as well, very well. Through balls, in behind. They're good at defending set pieces. I mean, they're one of the more complete teams.
Just stop.
I know. It's what do we have to look forward to in this match? That's going to be the next.
It's far easier and quicker just to list what they're bad at.
Yes. And
it's like 1 or 2 things.
The things that we can get at them are, if we take long shots, they're not that good. Kind of actually pretty weak at that. They do make some individual errors quite often, and as far as opponents, they can create scoring chances against them. So defensively they can be got at, and evident in kind of the 3 goals that they let in against Minnesota. So, yeah, I mean, it's as far as Atlanta United goes, if we can create some chances and if we can finish them, there might be a different story. But let's get into the match facts, which basically Atlanta United have failed to win 12 of the last 13 matches in MLS. So, yeah, it's grim. It's a grim reading there. Anytime you're in double digits in having failed to win, not good at all. But the odds, according to Bet365, are a little bit more even. So, for a home win, for us, it'd be 40%. For San Diego, it'd also be at 40%. So, we have a chance, it seems like. But also at a draw, 26.8%. So the betting odds, yeah, I mean, one of the teams are going to win is what it's thinking. And, you know, hopefully it's us. But we will likely have, as far as unavailable players, Lat likely out with hamstring. I suspect he might be shut down. I don't know. But, you know, maybe if he can get back in before the end of the season, that might be, you know, maybe a couple games just to, you know, not completely have it be a lost season. Will Riley, of course, out with a hamstring. Matt Edwards, Jay Fortune, probably out as well. So, yeah, we will see if that is actually the case with Matt Edwards. I hope he actually, hopefully, you know, plays in the run-in as well. But yeah, let's get into the predicted starting 11. So let's get between the you know, between the lines together. Goalkeeper, I think you've already alluded to it. Hibbert. Yep. You know, I think it's basically his job to lose for next season, essentially. I think what's really gonna be interesting here is the fullbacks. Yeah, who do you have for the fullbacks? Oh, we lost audio. Not sure why.
Nope, sorry about that. I muted myself because my cat was meowing.
Oh, okay.
But I just said, screw it. Why don't we just try like Sesak at the right fullback?
Yeah, I mean, at least see what we've got there. I mean, yeah, I don't mind it. I don't mind it. I think it's probably going to be Hernandez again. You know, I don't know. I don't see Lennon. I know I don't see Lennon starting, but yeah, he did get the assist, so maybe there is a bit of that. I think, you know, from one end, it might really discourage the rest of the fullbacks if Sesak does start. But you know what? I think we need some defensive solidity. So it's, man, I don't know. It's like Sesak would be a good choice because he seemed a lot more stout from that end, but you know, I don't know how much
the game doesn't matter.
Yeah, well, I think there are some points in which it matters, because for Atlanta United fans, the ones that are caring anyway, the ones that are watching, yeah, they want some entertainment, and they definitely don't want another 5 spot dropped on them or more. So but yeah, Amador for me on the left, Gregerson, Mihai to finish out. So yeah, yeah, into midfield. Any surprises there? I think you know, Schlieff comes back from yellow card accumulation.
Yep, and Alzate hopefully has a better game. I hope everyone has a better game than we saw last one. But you know, I mean, I get, you know, going back to what Ronny Deila said, it's lack of consistency in players and selection.
Yeah.
Maybe that had something to do with, you know, Alzate and Mihai playing uncharacteristically poorly last game. Hopefully that's not the case, because you'll have your guys back again. So hopefully you can get back to at least being solid defensively, because we thought to a degree at least we had that kind of figured out, but now I'm not so sure.
Yeah. I mean, I think, yeah, like we've mentioned, Schlieff was a big miss in terms of protection for the back four, and as well as, Alzate, small sample size, but likely not a defensive midfielder, and so we'll see, but kind of probably better suited as slightly forward a little bit more, but at the 10, I suspect Miranchuk is back, and playing in that 10 position. You think? Yep.
Should be. Apparently bone bruise should be done. I mean, he did sub in, so I imagine he would be all right to go.
Yeah. And then Almiron probably on the right there. Likely going to be the captain. But, on the left wing, you have Saba, Brennan.
I would put Brennan. I mean, Saba is good as a... Saba has not scored. He hasn't scored this season, has he?
Not in the league. Yeah, he's scored in.
No, not right. Okay, so, I would put Luke Brennan in, and Saba, solid super sub as well. I mean, they're both good at, they're, at that position doing either a substitution or starter. There, I would put Saba above him, but in terms of wanting to play and the youngsters and seeing what you got, I think Luke Brennan deserves some more time, and I think it makes sense in a kind of meaningless run of games to get him out there as much as you can. As a start, it's exciting, more interesting that way than having him just be a reliable sub. It might bother Saba a little bit. Like you said, he might be a bit of not in favor anymore, which is unfortunate because the guy lives and breathes Atlanta United. No one's going to question that from him. It's just unfortunate the way things kind of played out for him and this team this season. So I just feel like maybe Luke Brennan is just more interesting for me to have him out there.
Right. I think, we want to see what he's capable of, and, it's earning spots for next season. And we know Brennan will be here. And it's just a matter of if Saba will be here, and I'm going to guess probably not. But we'll see. But up top, a brace in the last match. It's got to be TRA. So, yes.
Yeah, he should be feeling good. Mm-hmm. He should be feeling real good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's as far as backup strikers go, probably one of the better ones in the league. I mean, as far as also though, from a standpoint of, do we sell him to get some, do we need such a strong backup striker, or do we need some more GAM for other positions? It's very interesting. So,
yeah,
we'll get to that at some point in the offseason. But let's get to our score prediction. So, what do you got?
I mean, Jamal's making $730,000, expensive backup striker. But I mean, he's produced as a backup striker for us, and he's had played a lot more for us as a backup striker than probably most backup strikers play for their teams. So, right. For that, I feel like it's decent money. But I mean, if you're gonna have a striker like a la Joseph Martinez, who when he's at his best, he plays like every game, then having such an expensive backup striker is not super great financially. So I don't know. We'll see. It'll be interesting what they do with him in the offseason. Yeah.
But yeah, score prediction was, what do you got?
I did not think we were going to win at Nashville 1-0. I did not think it was going to be what the hell ever was last game. So I am hesitant and scared to put out some kind of prediction for this. This team and the way they play is so weird. I mean, Ronny Deila said it himself in the press conference. He's like, I've never seen anything like this as a manager before.
Yeah.
How are you supposed to predict things like this? I guess I'll say 2-1 San Diego, because they literally should not lose. They shouldn't not win, I guess I should say. They shouldn't not win against us. There's no reason why they shouldn't not win. So if we beat them or tie them, I mean, sucks for them. They really should be winning.
And yeah, I think they will have everything to play for still because it's pretty tight out west. They're at 56 points. I think second place is at 54. I also have it as a 2-1 loss. Sorry to be uninteresting and not different from Mike's, but I already had it down. And yeah, it's yeah, I just can't see us winning this match. There's just like,
I mean, we shouldn't, but we shouldn't have won against Nashville either. So who the hell knows, you know?
Right. But it is one of these things too. It's like they're a really good attacking team. We're one of the worst teams defensively. It's a recipe for exactly what's going to happen, if not more. I think we could even predict more, unfortunately, but I don't want to. So.
Oh yeah, if they suffer that same kind of ridiculous mental breakdown they suffered in the first half of last game, it could spiral wildly out of control. That's unacceptable to do at home of all places too. Like to go down 5-0 at home in the first half, that is extremely rare in soccer and should not happen. So
yeah. Yep, it's a lack of pride a little bit, maybe. It's yeah, you know, amongst maybe other things that we can speculate. But guys, that is the match preview and pretty much the entire episode except for the question of the day. And the question of the day is, having been knocked out of playoff contention, what are you looking forward to in our last matches? Let us know in the comments below. Looking forward to what you have to say. But guys, that is the episode there and there. Remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe. That's Michael. I'm AJ. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you in the next video.